It's only about 45 k's from where you come out onto the Great Northern Highway, off that Leopold Range Road, and you come onto the bitumen, and it's only about 45 k's then into Fitzroy Crossing. We got in there, had a bit of a look around, then booked ourselves into the caravan park, come resort sort of a thing they got there. Pretty decent sort of a setup, but they got it built right up above flood levels. They get some pretty awesome floods there. We did a bit of touring around, just driving around the place. We actually did a tour around with the mob from that motel caravan park, and they took us around. So it was a bit of the history of the place and whatever. And this old cemetery here is right on the edge of the river, and the river's been slowly encroaching on it, washing the bank away. Sort of sandy, loamy country, and they've had some big floods over there since we were over there, so it's probably not even there anymore. But it's the actual, what do you call them, Pioneer Cemetery. And then we did the tour of the Geeky Gorge, and I think it was 2 miles, something like that, down, back, 2 kilometres, whatever. And did the boat tour, and it's really nice, like the cliffs and the reflections and all that stuff. But they told us the day we were there was cloudy, so we weren't getting the effect of the sunsets and that on the cliffs. And I reckon it's really nice to get the sunsets reflecting back in the water and that. But yeah, it's a pretty nice little side tour thing that I didn't really expect to be in the place, but tied up a few hours doing that. This old Fitzroy crossing was the main highway until 1974. The stock trucks used to come through.
Oh, won't be much room on the edges of the trucks either going down here. Sand.
Well, they widened this bridge in 1950 or something.
Widened it?
Yeah.
It was narrow?
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
Widened it for the stock trucks.
That's more water in there. It seems to be more water than this, doesn't it? Oh. Turn around and go back now. Don't feel like going on the corrugated road. Get the other camera out when we go. You drop me off.
Yeah, walk.
Yeah, just drop me off here and I'll get you going across it. Going back across it.
There wasn't actually a town called Fitzroy Crossing up until the 70s, when Aboriginal stockmen won the rights to equal pay as everyone else, and the big stations couldn't afford to pay them because there's too many of them, because they had all their families and everything else. So they kicked them all off the stations, whether it's right or wrong, and they all congregated around this Fitzroy River crossing. That's what gets its name from, crossing the Fitzroy River. And there was 6 different groups that congregated there and had all sorts of dramas for a long, long time. And I can remember, like, way back when, just hearing about this place and the amount of grog that they used to drink there. And they had road trains of grog coming in to this little old pub. And I heard a story when we were over there that somebody picked it up on the radar, on the satellite, that there was that many cans lying around. They thought it was an aluminium mineral deposit, and someone come out looking for it. It was all beer cans. And they collected them all up, and they got truckloads of them, and they put the money towards something. I can't remember what it was, but I think they built a hall and stuff like that. All went back into the Aboriginal community. And the stolen generation thing they go on about, there's a woman there when she was a kid. She was taken in by white people a couple of doors up from where she lived, and they sent her down to Perth and put her through law school. And she came back, and she was the main driver to get the place cleaned up. And they had all sorts of battles trying to get it. The mob that were carting it in the road trains didn't want to stop. The brewers didn't want to stop. The politicians didn't want to stop. So you can't really blame the old local fellas for laying around there drunk all the time, because it's not entirely their fault, because they sort of pushed him into it a bit. But anyway, she was the one that straightened it out, and it's not a bad little sort of place now. They've got most of their problems ironed out, and they've got some weird little quirky little signs around the place. School kids, I think it was, drew these signs up, and they made street signs out of them, and not to be walking on the highway drunk, and then condom trees, and they've got different bits and pieces around the place. It sort of, it adds a bit of interest to it. I tried to find some old photos of that old pub. I trawled the internet for a couple of hours or thereabouts, looking for old photos of it, and I couldn't find any. But it was built in 1897, so there would have been some photos somewhere. And it's the oldest pub, oldest licence in the Kimberleys, been the same place on that riverbank, and the river's starting to encroach on it a bit as well. But in its heyday, like there was, I reckon there was bottles stacked up, or cans rather, stacked up the walls. But so anyway, we left there about 10 o'clock, heading to Kununurra. It's a pretty good run across it's a good road all the way across there. And we pulled up at a place called Mary Pools. It's the end off the road a little bit, probably the old road, and on the riverbank, and there was 30-odd vans parked there, and big shady trees and cattle running around, whatever, feeding around the place. And so we pulled up and had lunch there. So after we left there, we just kept going, logging off towards Kununurra again. And anyway, we went through Halls Creek, just had a quick sticky beak around there. It wasn't much to do around there, I wouldn't think. Go out gold mining out where we parked out in the paddock there. There's a fair few trucks on the road, but if it wasn't for trucks and caravans, there'd be nobody on that road. I think we'll end up counting caravans, 100 and something caravans and 3 or 4 trucks and a couple of cars, and that was it. Anyway, I just ended up going until we got to Bungles. And we were going to pull up at the Bungle Ranges thing, and we're going to spend a couple of days in there. We'll go check that out. But when we pulled up in there, the fridge wasn't working. So we only had a run on the car and the gas, and they didn't have any powered sites. So when batteries were getting a bit dicky, and so we abandoned that and went to Kununurra and booked in the big caravan park there. And spent a few days running around there. That's a pretty awesome place at Kununurra. I wouldn't mind going back there for a while. Where are we going next?
I don't know. That way?